Here we go, it's all about you, it's all about me, it's all about what we do. Making art, you and me, trying to find something to believe. Because I'm running wild, I'm running free. Still got a lot of shit left to see.
Penelope Featherington. Pen is a very quiet, shy girl. Penelope has spent the last 2 seasons of the show Bridgerton spending her time in the shadows, only mixing with her best friends Eloise and Colin Bridgerton, however, is supposed to be Penelope's evolution. This season is supposed to represent a change in the character. We're supposed to see Penelope mature this season. She's going from that shy, unspoken, quiet wallflower who often dismisses herself, wrapped in her own insecurities, to a girl who is more outspoken, more comfortable with herself, who lets her personality shine. We shall now observe how well the show was able to convey this message and the theme of this season through critically analysing the costuming of Season 3 of Bridgerton. If you are a Bridgerton fan, or if this is your very first deep dive or video about Bridgerton or introduction into the TV show, I shall let you know that in the TV show Bridgerton, there are 2 primary families that we stay with, and that is, of course, 1, the Bridgertons, and 2, the Featheringtons. The Bridgertons are known for their blue hues. All of the Bridgerton children, including Lady Bridgerton, all tend to wear variations of baby blue. The Featherings, on the other hand, are much more new money. They're much more brash and bolder than the classic Bridgertons. Therefore, they're often dressed in very bright, eye-catching colors like yellow, saturated pinks, and bright oranges. Accompanied by those bright colors are usually even heavier appliques to their clothing. Colors mean a lot to the costuming in Bridgerton. It is very obvious that colors mean something in the costuming in Bridgerton, and John Glacier is not afraid to play with coloring. They mean something. So it also means something when we see Penelope go from her original color palette, which is that of the Featheringtons, because her mother dresses her, from the yellow, pink, orange color palette, we see her take a completely different change as her first step towards becoming herself, finding her confidence, and taking a step towards her own independence, and also developing her reputation and sense of self outside of her family. The blue for the Bridgertons is supposed to symbolize clarity, while the Featheringtons wear yellow, hinting at their envy. The first look that we see that implies a strong change in Penelope's character is the ensemble that she wears to the very first ball of the season. She wears an emerald green empire-style dress. It's adorned with black tulle. There's various beading stone across the chest or of the brassiere of the dress. You can see a lot of dark blues and teals and emeralds and other goldish and green accents as well. The tulle of the dress also looks so very iridescent, so that sometimes you get a bit of shimmery peaks of sheer black or bluer and lighter refractions of light off the dress. It's a gorgeous dress. The colors are supposed to hint at hope for change. She doesn't want to be the Queen's Diamond of the season, according to John Glacier. She wants to be Penelope is happy to be an emerald. Funny enough. The black is supposed to contrast with the pastel shades worn by the other young ladies, as those colors are more trendy for the season. However, Penelope's character is not simply unlike the other ladies, as she is more of a wallflower, more of an outcast, someone who's always whispered out the shadows. She's from a less prominent family that's always immersed in scandal and ridicule. She is not like these girls when it comes to reputation, when it comes to character, when it comes to how she's able to interact with other people in society. Penelope is not like the other. She is not like these people. She's also one of the few women in this room who will ever have earned money for themselves when we're discussing this time period. She is doing things not even of her era. Penelope is unique in very many of ways. But yes, the emerald and the black are not Penelope's usual colors. They're far darker than her personality and her character. She's not this edgy person who commands attention, who is often seen as a sharp seductress. So these are not things that we associate with Penelope Featherton, but this is how she looks tonight, and it's shocking. It's shocking as she descends the stairs, and that's when everyone notices her. That's why everyone notices her, including Colin. Honestly, I really love this first dress on Penelope. From the entirety of part 1, this first look will always remain my favorite look. We've yet to see where things will go with part 2, with the second drop of episodes, but as far as I'm concerned right now, I don't think anything will top this dress. I call it the peacock dress because to me it's very reminiscent of a peacock, and she is a spinster trying to catch the eye of a suitor. So she is definitely peacocking tonight. So I thought it was a very funny coincidence, if it is a coincidence. I couldn't find any mentions of it being purposeful from John Glacier or from Sophie, the other costume designer or stylist on the set of Bridgerton. But there is a reason why we never see Penelope in a look quite like the first one. After Penelope is publicly embarrassed and humiliated by Crusta of all people yet again in front of Lord Debling, after the incident at the ball, we see Penelope's second look is much more subtle than her first peacock-like attire. From that look forward, Penelope's color palette adjusts and becomes more consistent. We see her in various mint greens, seafoam greens. We see her in more vaguer colors that seem to take a dip between blue and green. Colors that share likeness or hues to either blue or green, very much middleman colors. We don't see her in those distinct forest greens or teals or black again. We see her in mints and seafoam and baby blue. And again, this is all purposeful. We are supposed to see Penelope teeter and totter, teeter and totter, teeter and totter in these colors that you don't quite ever know if it's blue or if it's green. The blue, of course, as you have guessed by now, the blue in Penelope's color palettes are supposed to represent her wanting, her desire to be a Bridgerton. That's why she has adapted this color into her palette. She spent her entire life with finding solace and comfort in the Bridgerton home with her best friend Eloise and her best friend Colin in Secret Crush. She's always wanted to be a part of that family. We could even maybe assume that maybe a part of her crush on Colin is her desire to be a part of that family, to be sisters with her best friend Eloise, and to be under the care of a mother who seems to have far more love, affection, understanding, and patience for her children than she has received from her mother, Miss Lady Featherington. But yes, Penelope still wants a suitor, but she does not want to be as eye-catching as she attempted to be in the first place. So she goes for more mysterious and subtle colors. She takes a bit of a tweak, an adjustment, a step backwards with her direction. Penelope's looks were also inspired by the golden age of Hollywood, in order to give her a bit more sex appeal, not the usual empire structure that we have become to associate with Bridgerton, that we've seen on Daphne and Eloise. They wanted to give her more and drew comparisons to Marilyn Monroe, and so gave tweaks to the elements of the dress so that it wasn't strictly taking away her silhouette from her curves. They wanted to give her a waist. So if you can tell, Penelope has a bit more of her body that comes through because she is now a woman, no longer a girl, as a spinster trying to make sure that she takes home a suitor so that she can start a new life on her own with a bit of privacy and independence. And just a fun fact from the costume designer to close it all in. He said that her color palette is actually the one that they used for Colin in season 1 and 2 with all of the light colors. They've both grown older and now their lives have matured. And so they've layered many fabrics together to make a color so that you always see many different colorings and aspects of Penelope's color palette into her outfits so that you're not easily able to identify, oh well, she's just wearing blue because she wants to be a Bridgerton. There's still speckles of light pinks and touches of yellow and different colors and a little bit of green to embody that mystery and ever changing and evolving nature of Penelope's character so that we are able to see that she doesn't know entirely where she's going next. She has an idea, but so far as the elements that we've come to know about her, the pink, the yellow, the blue, the green, is all of a mixed bag now, and it's not the same as it was before. It's all there, but it's changed.
It is a delightful ball, Your Majesty. Very diamondy. Though I must admit, I'm more of an emerald person myself.